Imagine this. You and your partner are getting ready for the day. They're laughing, they're happy, they're full of joy. They live the perfect life with you. Before heading out to work, they say they have a surprise for you. So, to play along, you cover your head with a blanket, arms open wide, ready to get your present. But all you feel is a sharp, loud bang to your head. You try to fight them, but they keep hitting you, until their hands choke you to death. This horrific nightmare that I just narrated was, sadly, the reality of Vickie Edge.
She was getting ready to leave, and I told her that I had another surprise for her, and she put this blanket over her head, and I had a baseball bat, and I hit her with it a couple of times, and then she said, why are you doing this? And I guess it was all precipitated with all this. I didn't have the money to pay for it. I guess I had no way to get out of it. I didn't know what else to do, and so she started to scream, and I put a chokehold on her until she went to the ground.
Okay.
And I choked her after that.
And the man telling the story is none other than her fiancé, Geisler Odum, a 61-year-old man from Okaloosa County, Florida. Vickie Mae Edge was the heart of Destin in Okaloosa County, Florida. She owned and ran her own spa downtown called Edge of Paradise and was known by everyone for being a kind-hearted woman. She did volunteering and was even willing to donate a kidney to a woman in need who she barely knew. The only thing that she didn't seem to have luck at was love. At 59, she was still single, but did not give up on the idea of a happy ending. And this is why she met Geisler Odum, recently divorced through a dating website.
I guess this all started a long time ago. I got divorced about a year ago, and I had $50,000 in the bank, and I had my truck, and I haven't paid my taxes in about 16 years, so I guess basically I was going broke, so.
Okay.
And we started dating each other, and it was at the beginning of May, and, she started talking about getting married, and, one thing led to another, and she was talking about wanting to get a house, and I was just agreeing to it, even though I didn't have the money to do it realistically.
Yes, sir.
New cars and that sort, and I guess I didn't know how to get out of it, and then that's what precipitated what happened yesterday.
Okay.
We met online on the Facebook dating app. That's how we met.
Okay.
And we started talking, and I told her to look me up on Facebook, and she did. And so we started talking on the phone, and then we made plans to go out on a date. We've been dating since I think the middle of May.
Okay.
Up till
So you guys, y'all been dating since
about 3 months.
Since May,
May.
for 3-4 months, somewhere in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to get married,
Mm-hmm.
get a house.
Yes.
Just what married couples do.
Uh-huh.
And you knew that you couldn't afford that.
I knew basically I couldn't afford it. I was just kind of going along with the ride. I thought maybe it would end beforehand, but I kept getting deeper and deeper into the relationship, and I didn't know how to get out of it.
Despite both being grown-ups in their late 50s and early 60s, Jerry claimed several times that he didn't know another way out of the situation.
When the relationship started, it was just like a snowball going downhill.
Right.
Now, before meeting Vickie, Jerry had been married and was a well-off man. But things took a turn.
There at one time, but I lost it. I made some bad real estate deals. I owned a repair shop, and I owned a Chevron, and they went bankrupt. So.
Oh my goodness.
So I mean, I've had everything and then lost it all. So.
Now, at 61, he was completely broke, and every last penny he had was going to Vickie.
I've probably got about $2,000 in the bank.
Right. Okay. When did you give her the check? Was that yesterday?
I gave it to her Wednesday.
Okay.
Look at the ring, and I thought, well, maybe I'm like $1,000 or $2,000 ring. And she picks out this $14,000 ring. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't have the money to get it.
That's an expensive ring.
Yeah, it was an expensive ring. And then she wanted to get a house on the lake for $265,000 and get it fixed and pay for a wedding planner and
That's
get
still
new
costs
cars.
a lot of money.
I did have a lot of money.
I mean, obviously the financial problem. Did y'all have any kind of other problems with each other? With ever arguments?
It seemed to get along pretty good. She just, she just kept pushing this marriage thing, and I kept going along with it. I don't know. I was in love with her, but I didn't want to say no. And then
The couple met through a dating website in May of 2020, and by August of that year, she was living at his house and organizing their wedding in the fall.
How long had she been staying at your house? How many days?
well,
had she been there?
she contracted COVID back at the first of maybe before the end of June. We went out on my birthday on June 23rd, and we were around a bunch of people in Destin that didn't have any masks.
Right.
And we went on a boat, and then within about 3 or 4 days she was sick, and she stayed with me for about 2.5 weeks after that.
Okay, so she'd been staying at your house for a while.
For a while, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and she. Fortunately, I didn't get it. I took a test and I tested negative.
Her brother, Eric, claimed to the News Journal that dating sites were her weakness and that she was always trying to find Mr. Right. She ignored the signs and red flags. But for Vickie, Jerry wasn't a red flag. She just had no idea that she was being lied to over and over again. Now, she might have been living in a daydream, but not everything was perfect in Vickie's life. She had been recently diagnosed with stage 2 colon cancer and was in the process of beginning her treatment. Jerry was already in love and knee-deep into his lies, so he kept on lying about money and promising to help her get through the treatment. The cop's question unraveled his feelings.
Think about doing that then?
No.
The Monday and the Tuesday going to the doctor's office or anything like that?
No, not really. I just was worried about her. I mean, I was thinking about what if I just told her, like, hey, I'm broke and all that, But I was knee deep into telling her I was going to spend $500,000. I didn't know what else to do.
Right.
And that would have been it. I guess she would have said that's it, I mean, I don't know if she was looking at me for what I had or I didn't have. I don't know. I don't know. It just, it almost got to a point where, I kept saying if I had money, she was happier. If I had this, and I did do a lot of things for her. I took her out to dinner a lot and flowers. Like Sunday, we went out to Jocko's and with my friend Hugh, and we had food and drinks. It was $113, plus a tip.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I did do a lot of good things for her.
Yeah. Good people make bad decisions too, Jerry. It's not only bad people that make bad decisions. Good people do it too.
Yeah.
A $500,000 cancer treatment, plus a giant wedding were all the lies that Vickie thought would be true. She had no clue that things were going to take a turn on her on August 6th, 2020.
What time that was yesterday when all that went on?
About 10:30 in the morning.
Okay. I'm going to take a few notes because
Okay.
I forget what we talked about. Now, you said she was getting ready to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Where was she going?
To work. She owns a hair and nail salon, I think, or something like that, or where she does facials. No, facials and massages.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
In Destin.
Okay. So this happened Thursday morning.
Thursday morning.
Okay.
Yesterday morning.
Had you thought about this before?
I guess I did. I thought maybe this might be an end result, you know, because, I mean, I went down and I bought the baseball bat, so, from Walmart
Okay.
sometime back. I just, like I say, I was just getting deeper and deeper in a hole, and I didn't know how to get out of it.
Right.
And one thing led to another.
Okay.
And
Which Walmart did you go to to buy the bat?
the one at Milton,
Okay. You remember when you bought that bat?
I don't know, maybe a week before.
Okay. So last week sometime maybe?
Yeah.
I got you. Had you been thinking about doing this since then, since last week or before that?
It kind of crossed my mind, I guess. Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about yesterday morning whenever you woke up, whenever you and her.
Well, we woke up, she was getting ready, and I didn't know what I was going to do, you know, basically. I had, you know, she'd been making plans to, for a wedding and all that, to have a wedding planner, and I gave her a check for $15,000, of course, which I didn't have to cover. And, you know, and I guess that's what led into this too. I didn't know what else to do. Kind of eat breakfast.
Okay.
She cooks breakfast, and she gets ready to go.
Okay.
And she starts loading stuff in her car.
Okay.
And that's when everything occurred. And after it happened, I just took the dog around. I rode him around for a while, and then I came back and I left him, and then I went and got a motel in
Okay.
and stayed there last night.
You remember what name of the motel
It
was?
was not Marriott, but that one that's right behind the Mexican restaurant off to the right. It's I can't recall the name of it.
Okay. But it's behind a Mexican restaurant, you said?
Yeah.
Is it by the interstate?
As soon as you get off the interstate, you make a
Okay.
left. I just couldn't bring myself to stay there with a body.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I knew I was going to have to say something to somebody.
Sure.
But of course, when her brother came by the door, you know, and I called the police. He'd already called y'all,
Yes, sir.
and that led to this. And
Okay.
you know, I was just trying to make my mind up when I was going to call. I mean,
Okay. I understand completely. Yeah, when this was going on,
he was just hanging around the floor. He wasn't really doing
he
anything.
didn't really.
He just kind of running around. No, he wasn't. It was her dog. I mean,
Sure.
he wasn't. The dog knew me, liked me, so he wasn't trying to bite me or anything like that. I mean, but he doesn't like a lot of people. He wasn't trying to be protected at all.
I got you.
The cop makes Jerry tell the story over and over again to gain more details and also prove that the crime was premeditated and thought through.
Okay. So y'all woke up that morning and you were thinking about this.
It was, you know, I guess I was thinking about it, how I was going to get out of this, what was I going to do?
Right.
Yeah, and you know, because I'd already given her the check, so I didn't know what else to do,
Okay.
which was, of course, the wrong thing to think of. I've never done anything like this in my life.
Yes, sir. Now, whenever you bought the bat from Walmart, was that your intention on using that bat against her?
I don't know at the time. I was thinking maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know.
Sure.
I mean,
I got you.
In the house, but you know,
Okay.
didn't want to go that route.
Why not?
I don't know, I guess the noise of the neighborhood
Sure.
and
I understand.
the mess. I don't know. I didn't want to. You know, it's like after it was all over, I felt bad about it, and I covered her up about what I'd done.
Sure. You're a human being.
Yeah.
Human beings have feelings.
Yeah. I never thought at 61 I'd be here today like this.
Yes, sir. Thinking about this for a little while. Was there any other method that you thought of other than the bat?
Well, like I say, I had guns. I thought about that, but I mean, I didn't want to really do that. I mean, you know, I thought about choking her. I didn't know. Like I say, it was all just like a snowball going downhill the hill.
Sure.
I didn't know how to get out of it. I mean,
I got you. I
you
understand.
know, when I sit there and admit to her that I'm broke and I have no money and it's going to be the end of the relationship, you know, I guess some way for it to end.
After the murder, Jerry spent several days in silence, pretending his life was normal. For his first statement, he claimed he spent the night in a motel, meaning he couldn't have done it. But quickly after, when her family and the cops got involved, he finally got the courage to confess.
That event happened, then what'd you do?
After that, I had some blood on me, and I washed it off, and I threw it in the washing machine in the dryer. And then, well, I threw it in the washing machine first, and I took the dog out for a ride.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what to do then.
Yes, sir.
And then when I came back, I threw him in the dryer, and I left the dog there, and then that's when I went to Crestview
Okay.
in the afternoon.
Okay. You remember what time you left to go to the
Maybe
hotel?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Okay. You know where those clothes are now that you washed and put in the dryer?
They're in the dryer.
They're in the dryer now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What were they? Did you?
It was a pair of shorts and I don't remember what shirt. I don't know. I kind of blanked out, but I had my red shoes on, and I noticed they had blood stains on them, so I set them up on top of the living room table.
Okay. Are they still there?
They're
Your
still
red
there.
shoes? Okay. You remember what color shorts you had on or shirt?
They were kind of grayish with all the black stripes.
Okay. What about your shirt? You remember what color it
I don't
was?
remember what it was.
But that shirt should still be in a dryer.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you drove to Crestview, stayed in the hotel. Did you go out anywhere in Crestview? Did you do anything?
I went to the Mexican restaurant down the hill, the La Bombas, I think that's what it's called, or something
Okay.
like that. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I think so. I'm not real
Okay.
familiar with Crestview.
I
But
went there and I ate, and
Okay.
I came and I watched TV and I went to sleep.
Okay.
And when I got up in the morning, I showered and I came back, check on her. I don't know. I just like, you know, I felt so bad about what happened and what I did.
Yes, sir.
And I took the dog out, and I just went around visiting neighborhood friends all day.
Okay.
I didn't know what else to do. I kept saying to myself, by noon I'm gonna call y'all, and by 5, and it just got later and later. And then her brother came and knocked at the door, and I never met him, but
Yes, sir.
I mean, I knew about him because she told me about him.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to go to the door. I didn't know if the guy had a gun. I mean,
Sure.
I mean, I had one too, but I didn't want to shoot the guy. I mean,
Right, yeah.
I mean,
You don't want to get in a shootout with a brother, I understand.
No, I didn't. You know, I'm already in enough of a mess, so.
Sure.
And he was banging on the house and all the doors and all that. So that's when I dialed 911.
Okay.
I guess he looked up where I lived on Facebook or something. I don't know. Or maybe she had told him before.
Right. Any of your neighbors or anything about this incident?
No, I just went on like everything was normal.
Okay. Did you tell anybody at Crestview about it at all?
No, they knew she was staying there. I just told them she was sick. You know, and that they knew that she'd had COVID and she wasn't feeling well. So you know, they asked me why she wasn't out and about and all that. I just said she was sick.
Now, when you left, you covered her up and you left. Did you know she was deceased at that point? After you covered her up and left?
Yes.
Okay.
I tried to see if I could feel a pulse. I didn't feel one.
Okay.
In those days that it took to find the body, Jerry could have run away, but he didn't. And instead of denying anything, he gives the cops an extremely detailed explanation of the crime.
Y'all got up, ate breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
She was going about her daily routine, getting her stuff loaded up in her
Put
truck.
her back up,
Okay.
getting dressed, getting ready to go.
Okay. Then walk me through from that point in detail as much as you
Okay.
can.
Well, from that point, you know, and she was getting ready to go, and then I told her I had her another surprise, and she put the cover over her head, and then I hit her in the back of the head with a baseball bat.
Okay, so she put a cover over her head.
Yeah, and so she came up, she was like, "Why are you doing this?" And I struck her a few more times, and then she began to scream, and after that, I started choking her until we went to the ground, and I finished choking her.
Okay. How many times you think you hit her with the bat?
Several, 4 or 5 times. I
4 or
guess.
5 times.
Mm.
Okay. But she was still alive after those strikes with the bat.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
How'd you grab her whenever you took her to the ground?
I grabbed her from behind over her naked choke. I trained martial arts. I knew what to do.
Yes, sir.
And then when she was on the ground, then I used my hands, and then after that, I used the bat to choke her.
Okay. So you first start out with your hands.
And then
Show me how
my
you
hands.
did. Okay.
Then I used the bat.
Okay. So was she laying?
She was laying flat on the floor, prone on the floor.
Was she laying face up or face down?
Face up.
Face up. Okay. Was she saying anything at that point at all to you?
No.
Or?
No.
Okay.
No. Just kind of gurgling.
Okay. So you said you hit her 4 or 5 times.
Probably.
Okay. Now, which way was she facing whenever you hit her?
Well, she was facing sometimes toward me and then to the back of me. I guess she was kind of moving around, trying to get her head out of the way, I guess.
Okay.
And then she started screaming, and I knew that there were neighbors out there, and I didn't want them to hear her screaming. And then that's when I started to choke her.
Okay. But was she still standing up when you started to choke her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you guys fell to the floor.
Fell to the floor.
And then she was laying on her back,
Mm-hmm.
facing upward.
Prone, facing
Okay.
upward
Then you choked her on.
with my hands.
Okay. Then
I used the bat.
used the bat. Okay. Did after that happened, did you clean anything up at the house, or was it like it was?
No, I didn't clean anything up.
You didn't mop or wipe anything down?
I just wiped myself off, and that was it. And
Okay.
I covered her up. I
Okay.
didn't clean up anything.
I got you. What'd you wipe yourself off with?
A rag, just a brown rag.
Is that rag still in the house?
It's in the house.
You know about where the
It's in
house
the
was
dryer.
at? It's in the dryer?
It's in the dryer, yeah.
Is there anything else in the dryer other than those
Well,
articles?
there were some other clothes in there, but all the other blood stains that were there, that were blood that was coming from her head, or wherever else, maybe I struck her, that I didn't try to remove any of it.
Okay. After she was struck in the head, did she say anything or?
No.
Okay.
No, she wasn't really struggling anymore.
Okay. But she put a cover over her head herself.
Right.
You didn't do that. She did
But
that.
she did that.
Why would she do that? Just
Well, because I told her I had a surprise for her.
okay.
So,
So she just kind of covered up.
yeah,
Okay.
and I struck her with a bat, and she took it off, and she said, "Why are you doing this?" And then we started to, I started to hit her again,
Okay. Are you right or left-handed?
right-handed.
Okay. Did you swing the bat like a right-handed person would?
Well, no, I'm ambidextrous. I swing with my left side.
Okay. Okay. So you hit a baseball left-handed?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
left-handed.
right? Okay. So after that happened, you didn't move her at all, or?
No, she was just laying there, and she wasn't moving, so I just covered her up.
Okay. What did you cover up with?
That cover, one of those covers, and I got another cover, and I covered her up.
Okay. So did she took the one cover off?
Mhm.
Is that something you covered her up with as
That
well?
was one of them.
Okay.
He also answers all the questions about the murder weapon, her phone, and her car in extreme detail as well.
At it now.
It's at the house. Could I have some water, officer?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Sorry, will you get in
Yes,
some water if you don't mind, please?
Yeah, it's as they go in the house, there's a bag of my martial arts weapons on there. I didn't use anything like that, but it's behind the door where I had a .22 rifle, and the bat's right next to it.
Just behind the door? Is that the front door?
Well, as soon as you go into the house, you'd make a left from the living room, and it would be the back bedroom, all the way to the left,
I got
and
you.
it would be behind the door. It was a metal bat,
Okay.
kind of like a kid's bat.
Okay. Her red car?
That's her red car.
Okay. Do you know what happened to the license plate on it?
It's in the back of the trunk. I took it off and I bent it and I put it in the back.
Okay. You took it off the car, bent it, and put it in the bag?
The trunk.
You know where her keys are?
They're up on the counter by the sink, or they may be in my truck.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. I just didn't want anybody to come by and see it. Then, like I said, I just wasn't ready to tell I knew I was going to have to tell what had happened, but I just didn't want to do it right then.
Just wasn't ready to do it. Okay.
No.
I got you. That makes sense.
I didn't want to, that's why I left. I didn't want to, I felt so bad about it. I didn't want to stay there with the body. I mean, I just,
When did you take her license plate off? Was that when you took the dog out, or?
it was sometime afterwards it happened.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when, sometime after it happened.
Where her phone is?
Well, I smashed it
Okay.
and put it in some water because it started smoking.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't
Where was
notice
that at? Was that at home?
It's in the driveway. There's my landlord's Mercedes. There's a red bucket in front of it, and it's in some water there.
Just in your driveway?
Yes. Well, it's inside in the driveway. And not the driveway. Where he's got his Mercedes parked, and it's in front of the Mercedes. It's a red bucket.
Okay. Why did you do that?
I guess I didn't want her friends calling. I didn't know, I didn't want to answer. I didn't know what to say to him. I mean,
Yes, sir.
what was I going to say? I mean, look what I just did. I mean,
There was only one thing that didn't make sense to the cops. Why do that? The cop asks why he thought murdering her was the best way to get out of the marriage.
agreeing to it, and then she said we could use one of her friend's backyards that she had a house on Mary Hester, which was a nice house, like $1 million house. And she said, well, she started calling up people. It'd be like $50 a head, and for 50 people supposedly, and then open liquor bar and all this, and so she said probably $15,000 would cover it. And I wrote her a check, like I said, I didn't have.
I got you.
I tore it up, like I said, I threw it in the garbage. I mean, the commode, I flushed it in the commode.
The
But
check?
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't say anything to the neighbors because I didn't know what to say to them. I mean,
Yes, sir.
I just got back from my neighbor's house over there, and his dad had brought back a pizza. I sat and ate pizza with him. But it's like I wanted to tell him, but I couldn't. Like I say, I knew I was going to tell somebody. I mean, I didn't want it to be there and all this to happen the way it did, but
Yes, sir.
A million things running through your mind, huh?
yeah. I just, I didn't. My neighbors all know me as a nice guy. I mean, they don't know me as this person now. I mean, they tomorrow morning they're going to wake up and they're going to say they don't know this guy, because it's not me. But, like I say, I had money and I didn't, and next thing you're broke, and
Yes, sir.
I didn't know where it was going to lead me. The only other thing I own is that truck.
The one that's in the driveway?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's it. Wait and talk to a lawyer, but it doesn't matter now. I'm 61 years old. I mean, I might as well just tell the truth,
Yes, sir.
For many, Jerry can be considered a good man who made a big mistake. But the reality is different. He was a bad man who thought that killing was the only solution for his lies. That is why he planned the murder, bought a weapon, and carried it out. Maybe if he hadn't been a coward from the start, none of this would have happened, and Vickie would still be alive.
Criminal lawyer, and he'd be telling me now not to say a thing to you. But he passed away 2 years ago, but, I feel in the long run it's best to get things off your chest.
Yes, sir. I feel the same way.
Like I said, I never thought at 61 I'd be sitting here. And it'd be the end of the road of my life, but here I am.
Yes, sir.
In February of 2021, Jerry Odum pleaded guilty to first-degree premeditated murder and was sentenced to life in prison, where he's currently staying.